What's up, all you quantum maniacs? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on anything. I'm DeQuan Young, and today we present Why Isn't Bill Belichick in Madden? For over 30 years, the folks behind EA Sports' iconic Madden NFL franchise have had only one goal: create the most realistic simulation of American football. For the earliest versions of the game, which came out on home computers in the late 1980s, aesthetic realism wasn't really possible, and there was only so much you could do with graphics on an Apple II or a Commodore 64. Back then, it was all about getting the strategy right. But of course, things changed as video game systems evolved. And with every new gaming system, Madden looked, sounded, and played better. And the game engines got better. The actions got smoother. Every advance in technology allowed EA to add more detail to the game. And as a result of 30 years of hard work by hundreds upon hundreds of developers and game testers, the latest installment of the long-running franchise, Madden NFL 19, is the most realistic ever. And the game features details nobody would have dreamed about 30 years ago. From the realistic stadiums to the commentators,
he's got getting away from the top speed,
to franchise mode to the tattoos on players' arms. Also to the celebration dances they do in the end zone. However, after all these years, there's still one aspect of NFL football Madden can't get right. The game features all 32 team names, it features all 32 team owners, it features all 53 players on every team roster, plus the 5-man practice squad. However, it's only got 31 of the 32 head coaches. For years, EA's motto was, if it's in the game, it's in the game. But that has never applied to the coach in the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, the most famous and accomplished coach in the National Football League, is not in Madden. The digital stand-ins never look like Belichick either, and they don't have cute names like Will Pelinick or Phil Jelinek. Some years, the New England Patriots coach on Madden is just listed as New England coach. Some years, EA just makes somebody up. One year it was Josh Moore, one year it was Chad Masters, and in the latest edition, it's Griffin Murphy. None of these are real people that exist. I mean, they're probably real people somewhere, but not in the NFL. Some Madden fans just can't handle having the Patriots coach by New England coach or Griffin Murphy. So, in franchise mode, they use the Use Custom Coach option to create their own Kill Bill. They assign all the appropriate coaching attributes, they name them Bill Belichick, and they try to make the avatar look as close to the real deal as possible. Aesthetically, custom Belichicks never look quite right, but at least the name is there. Of course, if you know anything about Bill Belichick, then you know not being in Madden is very on brand for him. Being a contrarian and always going against the grain, it's kind of his thing. Those hoodies with the sleeves cut off that Belichick always wears during games, he wears them to look stupid on purpose. He started doing it years ago to stick it to the league because he didn't like the rules that said coaches could only wear Reebok apparel. He said he's not a fashion model and that grown men should get to choose their own clothes. Belichick lists Tom Brady as probable on the Patriots injury report almost every single week, whether Brady's dealing with an injury or not, because he thinks the weekly injury reports mandated by the league are BS. At the NFL's annual meeting in 2011, Belichick was the only coach not to attend the annual coaches breakfast. And he was there for the meeting, he just didn't go to breakfast. Breaking news, Bill Belichick hates breakfast. At the NFL's annual meeting in 2014, Belichick was the only coach not to take part in the head coach's photo. Again, he was there for the meeting, he just didn't post for the photo. Breaking news, Kill Bill hates pictures. In November of 2015, when the NFL introduced military-themed team apparel for Salute to Service Month, Bill Belichick was the only coach in the league who didn't wear it. And keep in mind, Belichick is a Trump supporter whose dad taught and coached at the United States Naval Academy. In October of 2016, Belichick openly blasted one of the NFL's major corporate sponsors. They had teams using Microsoft Surface tablets on the sidelines, thanks to a 5-year, $400 million deal signed in 2013. But 3 years in, and Belichick said he was abandoning the Surface tablets because, and I quote, they're just too undependable. And let's not forget the press conferences. Ooh, the press conferences. Kill Bill loathes the fact that he has to take time out of his schedule to address the media on a weekly basis. Consequently, he totally gets off on trolling reporters with sarcastic answers to their silly little questions.
Given the nature of this presidential race,
Seattle.
Did you find it helpful to talk
Seattle.
to players?
Or simply shooting them a look that says, I'm gonna beat you to death with your own shoe.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
So now let's get back to the main issue here. Why is Bill Belichick the only coach in the National Football League who's not in Madden? Naturally, people have asked him about it. In 2012, Yahoo Sports' Dan Wetzel asked Belichick straight up, "Why aren't you in Madden?" Belichick's answer? "I don't know." The Madden issue came up again at the NFL meetings in March of 2015. There, after Belichick actually did pose for the head coach's photo, NBC Boston reporter Tom Curran asked the Patriots coach if that meant he would now be in the Madden game. The exchange that followed was absolutely classic. "What Madden game?" Belichick responded with a straight face. What Madden game? The guy actually pretended like he didn't know what Curran was talking about. "I have no idea," Belichick said. "You should ask John about that." Ask John, as in John Madden, like John Madden actually has anything to do with the game. It's highly unlikely anybody ever did ask John about that, but Dan Wetzel did ask EA, and it turns out the basic, surface explanation for why Belichick isn't in Madden is pretty simple. According to an EA spokesperson, the video game company licenses the use of coaches' names and likenesses from the NFL Coaches Association. EA pays the association money, and the association distributes the money to its members. The problem? Bill Belichick is not a member of the NFL Coaches Association. As you may have guessed, he's the only active coach in the National Football League who isn't. So why does Belichick refuse to join the NFL Coaches Association? Wetzel asked him if he's ever been approached about it. Belichick's answer? Obviously, Belichick knows why he isn't a member of the NFL Coaches Association, and he knows whether he's been approached about it or not. He just doesn't want to say it. And it's really not that hard to piece together a reasonable explanation based on two key things we know about him. First, Belichick clearly detests the parts of his job that aren't directly related to winning football games. That includes talking to the media, being a spokesperson, or posing for photographs. Second, Belichick has a bit of a rebellious streak. He simply doesn't like doing things that everybody else likes doing, and he doesn't like people telling him what he should be doing. Being in Madden would require zero work for him. There's money that's just basically sitting there waiting for him to collect it all. All he would have to do is just join the NFL Coaches Association. Sure, the association probably collects a yearly fee from its members, but that would easily be covered by royalties from Madden as well as other partnerships. And anyway, if Belichick wanted to, he could just negotiate a deal directly with EA. Most coaches couldn't get away with that, but Belichick is a household name, and his absence from Madden sticks out like a sore thumb. EA would probably be willing to negotiate with him directly. In fact, Belichick could probably get more money this way. But he doesn't need the money. Though nobody knows the exact figures, it's estimated that his yearly salary is somewhere between $10 and $12.5 million per year, which would make him the highest paid coach in the NFL. If he ever wanted more money, all he'd have to do is leave the Patriots. Half the teams in the league would probably pay him as much as $15 million a year for his services. So if Belichick doesn't want to be in Madden for the money, what other reason could there possibly be for him to be in it? The man does not care. He isn't interested in video games. He isn't interested in building his brand. People who know him will say he can actually be very thoughtful and generous with his time. However, they also say off the record that he loves throwing a wrench in the machine. He relishes making subtle, passive-aggressive statements. So why isn't Belichick in Madden? Probably because he's not interested, and because it annoys him that people think he should be interested, and because he thinks football video games are silly, and because he enjoys being the one guy who says no and messes everything up. Sorry, video game fans. Madden probably isn't going to be perfectly realistic until Kill Bill retires. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we truly appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around on Total Pro Sports though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.